I was engaged for a while to a Yalie who sounded like a Yalie to me, although he had a trace of a Southern accent. I thought sort of a Bill Faulkner, Truman Capote accent. You know, when you're 20, you don't, make these distinctions. And I went home to meet his family at Christmas. And as we drove further south from New Haven, his accent got heavier and heavier. It became filled with all these hillbilly kind of regionalisms, this real kind of you all stuff. And as well, a lot of the hand gestures. I mean, this man was becoming a different person as we went. Mostly the language. By the time we got to Sparta, I had it. I just knew that someone with those little accents was not going to crawl around inside of me. I was not going to have little Southern babies who talked like that, and I got a plane home. No question.
You can't talk Southern. I mean, Southern bro, it's the worst. You know that to yourself. I mean, you're laughing.
Why is it worse?
Because they talk like niggers. I'm sorry.
Even the white people?
Even the white people talk like niggers over there.
People can be very blunt when they say what they think about the speech of a certain area. They might point to how people talk as proof of what they like or don't like about that part of the country.
And I was talking to a New York editor not too long ago, and I could tell, he was thinking, Ohio, okay, I learned about that in geography. It's somewhere near Iowa or Idaho or one of those places. And you get the impression that they think there's rampant brain death east of or west of the Hudson. And you almost want to say, well, I got to go now because the Berkshires are eating the seat covers off the Massey Ferguson and we got some canning to do. But so we tease back and we get very defensive. I say about New Yorkers that in Manhattan, the reason there's that nasality in the language is because the higher up you go in those skyscrapers, the thinner the air is, and they say, he's in a meeting right now, that's what happens. But
I don't think they perhaps have the same values of hospitality that we do in the South, and so I associate all of that with the sound of their voice, and it's grating on your ears. Maybe our sound is also, but it's usually very nasal. And a lot of times the things they say are not kind.
They won't say, oh, darling, I'm so glad to see you. They'll say, nice to see you. I'll just clip it right off.
Clip it off.
And you've got to put a little adjectives and little darling, precious, something like that to make you a Southerner.
They laugh at me. I took an ice chest out at the wedding, and I said, I brought the ice. And these three guys said, you've brought the what? And I said, I've brought the ice. And they said, well, we're not quite sure what you're saying. And I opened up this ice chest, and I said, see, ice, asshole.
There's a lot more prejudice against a Southern accent than there is against any other kind. That is, and I think it troubled Jimmy Carter considerably, because in the Northern mind, a Southern accent equals both ignorance and racism, and you'll see that stereotype reinforced in zillions of old movies. You take all those old movies around World War II era, I don't know how many zillions there were, but the classic World War II movie consists of an all-American clean-cut hero who's from somewhere in the Middle West, usually a farm kid from Kansas who's blonde, and he's always got one wisecracking buddy from New York, and then there's always some just dumb, slow-talking Southerner who's the butt of all the jokes in the military movie. And that's a stock character in American movies, and it really has reinforced the prejudice against a Southern accent.